Hi, welcome to the life adventures of Mr. Fish, with me, Mr. Fish. I used to be the keeper of the dead man's Bible, where all the rules of society are thrown, tossed and washed away. I used to be the man standing on the pavement, riding on a bus, sitting on a train, looking at all you people thinking, I wonder what it's like to be you. To wake, to work, to eat, to sleep, to dream, to die. I'm the man who had it all and not popped to piss it. My story's so hot, you're gonna have to sit in the pool to read it. Crash. Easy on the mic and mind how you go. Easy on the mic and enjoy the show. Crash. How are we? Okay, today I decided today's topic will be about disappointment. Run! Disappointment. Life's a funny thing because all through your life we face disappointments of all different types, relationships, jobs, vacancies, all through your life, in all areas of life, we face disappointment. And the problem with disappointment is, with a lot of us, we don't know how to handle it. And don't get me wrong, I've done it. I've upset some people, all because I thought I was disappointed. And I made lots of mistakes, shouting, screaming, going off my nut. When really, when you really think about it, they hadn't really done nothing. But it was because at the time, I didn't really understand disappointment. And so, lots of things spiraled out of control. And you have to remember with disappointment can lead to crash. How do we do it? How's your father? It can lead to death and jealousy, anger, resentment, prison. Disappointment is crazy. And disappointment always comes from the fact that we don't really understand how to deal with the issue that we are facing. So sometimes when you're in a relationship, sometimes when one person thinks it's all going cool and smooth, and the other person thinks it's not, and crash out your father, the person who thinks he's not decides to go, and the one who's left behind takes it personal and thinks that, they're going on to better things, they're doing something better, their life's any better than yours, but it's not. Relationships, they're not about winning and losing. I thought it was once. So please, if you have done that, don't be embarrassed. There are many people out here, like myself and yourself, who have done it. It's not an issue. I'm not scared to tell you. I messed it right up. I picked a couple of fake people and places and relationships. But that's life. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, with disappointment, you have to be very careful how you deal with it. And one of the worst ways which people I find deal with it, a lot of people sometimes deal with it by taking drugs. Other people deal with it by taking drink, crash. Some people gamble. Disappointments is dealt with in so many different ways, so many different means, And we really do need to control disappointment. And when you see a lot of these kids, at school or colleges or attendance centres or misbehaving at home and then going to school and then misbehaving at school and then going to attendance centres, it's all down to disappointment. And we go into there and we talk about schools and we talk about life, but no one's talking about disappointment and what it does to you and where it leads. And that's a massive thing, which I think, now it's not just kids, all of us, whether you're 99, whether you're, 5, 6, 7, all of us need to learn how to deal with disappointment. The best way I found to deal with disappointment is to I treat disappointment like a death. I mean, if you saw one of the podcasts with Bobby Kasanga on Big Ego Media Productions, you will remember I touched on disappointment. And, in there I said the best way to deal with disappointment is like a death. And so what you have to do with disappointment when you are disappointed, you must tell disappointment. You get a letter and a cup of tea, and you get a bit of space where you're on your own. And you have to be honest when you're talking to disappointment. There's no point lying or listening to the drug on your corner or the drink or whatever it is that you're using to mask it up. And so you get hold of disappointment and you write it down, lovely cup of tea on your own, and you say to disappointment, dear disappointment, you made me feel angry, upset and bitter towards those that I thought had wronged me and I thought had tried to harm me or were laughing at me. You made me want to hurt them, their families, their friends. You made me very hostile and angry and bitter towards them, and bitter towards them. And I upset a lot of them, a lot of their friends, a lot of their family, and maybe even them themselves. And a lot of them still have scars from all that shouting and screaming today. And you made me think it was about winning and losing when it wasn't. It wasn't about winning and losing. And I suppose most of all, I suppose I was gutted that I didn't have the education at that time, or the people skills to deal with that, those situations. And so I suppose that disappointed me as well. But out of that disappointment now, what you've done, you've now taught me how to engage with people. You've now taught me how to resolve issues and problems of all different types, how to resolve them peacefully, amicably, sensibly and reasonably, and so disappointment, I need you to understand that I didn't really understand what relationships were about, and I didn't understand that the relationships were really about two minds, and I'm disappointed that you didn't teach me that earlier. And I'm also disappointed that that I didn't understand that when one mind needs to go, that the other mind, crash house your father, doesn't understand why the other one needs to go. And so that, that I was very, very disappointed about, and you made me feel that. So now, disappointment, I want to say to you, now I've told you how I feel and what you've done to me, I want to say to you goodbye. And I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to smile and live to see another day. And that is how you have to deal with disappointment. You have to write to it, tell it the truth, and once you've told it, move it on, crash out your father, sit down and relax and move on. You just have to understand that, like with relationships, two minds are, they're just two minds, and one goes their separate ways. It's nothing personal. There's nothing sad. They're not leading a better life than you. Their life isn't any greener than you. They still have the same mental pressures, the same emotional pressures, the same stresses of everyday life, just the same as you. Crash house your father. And so there's no need to be bitter and angry and fed up. No. So, crash out your father. It was a serious note today. I just thought I'd drop it in. I like doing a 10 minutes quick show, just to touch on a few things. If you would like to like and subscribe and keep the show alive, please do so. I'm here. Please comment. Ask me any questions. I'll see if I can help. But most of all, please deal with your disappointment respectively, properly and happily, because otherwise you're going to be on the drugs, on the gear, gambling, in prison. That's where it all is. Jealous, hating, hurting. That's where it all is. So ladies and gentlemen, do yourselves a favour. Please listen to what I said. Ease on the mic and mind how you go. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And please remember, there's nothing bad that can't be worse. Like and subscribe and keep the show alive. Cry!